Hi, I'm Lucas, 34, and I learned the hard way that some family betrayals don't come with warning signs. They come with hashtags like #FamilyFirst, posted from a bachelorette party while you're in spinal surgery. This story isn't just about what happened that week, it's about the years that led up to it. The patterns I ignored. The guilt I swallowed. And the moment I finally realized, if I didn't cut my family off, I was going to lose myself entirely. Growing up, I used to think I was just a low-maintenance kid. I didn't demand attention, didn't cause scenes, and learned pretty early that if I wanted something, I'd better figure out how to get it myself. Because my sister Savannah? She sucked all the oxygen out of the room. It started small. I got into state college at 17, partial scholarship, first in our family to even apply to university. My parents threw a dinner to celebrate. Halfway through, Savannah stands up and announces she made varsity cheer. That was it. The whole dinner pivoted to her uniform fittings and pep rally schedule. My college plans became background noise. No one even asked about dorms or what I was studying. When I landed my first real job at 23, same pattern. I announced it at Sunday dinner, proud and shaking. Dad gave a quick "Congrats," then turned and asked if I could chip in for Savannah's engagement party. Mom handed me a list. The whole evening? Spent comparing centerpiece options. And I chipped in. $800 I didn't have. I was drowning in student loans, eating peanut butter from the jar, and they spent $1,200 on centerpieces. That was normal. That was expected. For the next decade, I stayed in that role, the helper, the ATM, the guy who didn't say no. Birthday cakes for nieces. Rent money when Dad got laid off. A $22,000 loan when they were 2 months behind on the mortgage. I gave it freely. They said they'd pay me back when things stabilized. Then they stabilized, and nothing happened. But I said nothing. Fast forward to me, age 30, standing in a crosswalk when a pickup truck blows a red light doing 50. He hit me full on. I was lucky to survive. 3 herniated discs, nerve damage down my left leg, and a spine that felt like someone had lit it on fire and handed me a 9 to 5. Doctor said I needed spinal fusion surgery. Soon. Waiting too long risked permanent damage. I booked the earliest date I could, June 14th. Told my family over dinner in February. Mom said, "That's unfortunate timing," and then immediately pivoted to Savannah's wedding venue. They knew. They knew how serious it was. Then 3 weeks before surgery, Savannah announced her bachelorette trip. Scottsdale. June 13th to 16th. Same exact weekend. When I pointed out the conflict, Savannah laughed. Told me to just reschedule it. I told her the next opening was in December, 6 months later. 6 months of nerve pain. 6 months of maybe losing full use of my leg. Mom jumped in. "This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Surely you can work something out." I sat there, stunned, realizing that if I gave up my slot, I was doing it so my sister could drink mimosas without feeling guilty. Haley, my girlfriend, overheard the whole thing from the kitchen. When they left, she walked into the room and said one sentence. "Your family's messed up. You know that, right?" And I did. I just hadn't admitted it yet. That was the beginning of the end. 2 days after that conversation, Mom called with what she called a solution. Said she'd found another surgeon in network through their family plan, some guy fresh out of residency who had august availability. "He's very nice," she added. "Great reviews. You wouldn't have to wait until December." I checked him out. The man had exactly 1 review that mentioned spinal fusion, and it said he forgot to schedule the patient's physical therapy follow-up. He specialized in knees. So I said no. Politely, at first. Her response? "Well, when you're a parent, you'll understand the sacrifices we make." I was literally lying in bed, half numb from the waist down, while she lectured me about family sacrifice so my sister could stage a photo shoot in matching swimsuits. Dad? Stayed quiet. He always did. Then, right when I thought he might speak up for me, he mumbled, "I hope we can all work something out." Translation: "Please cave, so I don't have to get involved." Savannah, on the other hand, went full meltdown. Started texting me 5 times a day. Guilt-tripping. Gaslighting. crying emojis and dramatic declarations like, "You're ruining the happiest time of my life," and, "If you cared about me, you'd make this work." Like I had crashed into her with a truck. Only person who reached out with actual concern? Connor, my older brother. One text. "Sorry to hear about the surgery. Hope recovery goes okay. I have a client pitch that week, otherwise I'd swing by." Appreciated the thought, but it was clear where the priorities were. Meanwhile, Haley's family treated me like I was one of theirs. Her dad offered to drive me to every follow-up. Her mom texted asking what snacks I'd want post-op. Her brother Drew, a literal lawyer, said he'd help manage my work leave paperwork and make sure I didn't sign anything weird while on pain meds. They weren't blood. But they showed up. Which made what happened next even more jarring. 2 weeks before surgery, Mom showed up at my apartment unannounced with a grocery store cake. "Sorry," written in blue icing, like I was turning 7 and not getting a bike. She sat me down, opened Pinterest on her phone, and scrolled through Savannah's Bachelorette board. Showed me custom t-shirts, bedazzled flasks, floaties shaped like engagement rings. "I just want you to understand what's at stake here." What was at stake? My spine. And then, and I'll never forget this, she said, "Savannah's been dreaming about this party for years. You'll have other surgeries." That's when I brought up the $22,000. Calmly. Like a man who had just been handed an insult cake and a slideshow of pool toys. "Are you going to be at the hospital?" I asked. She did that thing where her lips pressed together like she's sucking in disappointment. "I have to think about it." "Right. Think about it." I nodded and said, "Then maybe now's the right time to talk about the money you borrowed. That $22,000. Her face went pale. "What are you talking about?" "You know what I'm talking about. 2 months behind on the mortgage, remember? I gave you my bonus. You said you'd pay me back. That was family helping family." "Exactly," I said. "So now help me. If you can't be there in person, start paying it back." She stormed out. Didn't even take the cake. That night, the group chat lit up. Savannah said I was trying to extort the family during a stressful time. Mom wrote a 600-word message about betrayal. Dad sent a single message. "Let's not make this about money." Too late. That's exactly what this was about now. Drew offered to send a demand letter. Said it might not hold up in court without a written agreement, but sometimes the lawyer letterhead alone got results. I told him to wait. Just wanted to see who'd show up on surgery day. Spoiler alert, it wasn't them. But Haley's family? They brought breakfast. Drew drove me. Aunt Colleen, my mom's older sister, left Portland at 3 a.m. and showed up with a thermos of coffee and a crossword book. Savannah was at a pool party in Arizona, tagging photos #FamilyFirst. I saw it from my hospital bed. And that's when something snapped. Not just in my back, but in how I viewed all of them. Surgery day. June 14th. I was wheeled into St. Vincent's at 6:45 a.m., wearing a paper-thin gown, thinking, if they're gonna show up, now's the time. They didn't. Haley held my hand while the nurse explained anesthesia. Her brother Drew filled out the intake forms like it was just another Thursday. Aunt Colleen sat reading People magazine like she'd done this 100 times. The waiting room wasn't quiet, it was calm. And for once, I realized how rare that was in my life. Calm. No drama. No forced apologies. No one pretending my surgery was an inconvenience. They prepped me and rolled me into the OR at 7:10 a.m. I woke up around 2 p.m., groggy, nauseous, and completely disoriented. Felt like I'd been hit by another truck. First thing I saw, Haley's face. Puffy-eyed but smiling. "You did it. It went great. 3 vertebrae. Surgeon said it was textbook." I asked if anyone else came. She shook her head. "No one? No one." Didn't surprise me. Still hurt. Later that evening, Haley's mom brought photos of their golden retriever in a party hat. Said she heard laughter helps healing. Her dad brought fresh socks. Drew brought jokes and a Gatorade. Aunt Colleen stayed till visiting hours ended and told the nurse she'd take him home right now if they'd let her. My phone lit up with messages that night. None from my parents. Not even a thumbs up emoji from Savannah. But I got texts from cousins, old coworkers, even my boss. One cousin wrote, "Just found out you had surgery. Your mom told everyone it was outpatient. Let me know if you need anything." Outpatient. They'd downgraded spinal fusion to a routine checkup in the family group chat. At 8 p.m., Savannah posted an Instagram story from the pool in Scottsdale. Matching pink bikinis, mimosas in hand, the caption, "Best weekend ever with my queens, #family first, #Bachelorette bliss." Haley was sitting next to me when I saw it. She reached over, took my phone, and placed it face down. "Don't. Not tonight." She actually used the hashtag. She's actually that self-absorbed. She has no idea. She doesn't care. And that was the real gut punch. That night, the meds wore off enough for me to feel everything: the pain, the stitches, the betrayal. I didn't sleep. Just stared at the ceiling, wondering how the people I'd helped for years could disappear the moment I needed them. 3 days later, I was discharged. Drew drove us home. Haley had already prepped the apartment: extra pillows, heating pads, water bottles lined up like soldiers. She'd taken 2 weeks off work just to help me recover. That night, Dad texted, "Glad the surgery went well." That was it. No apology. No visit. No explanation. Just a bland sentiment like I'd gotten a dental cleaning. I didn't respond. Day 5, Mom called. "I hope you understand why we couldn't be there. Savannah needed our support." Support drinking cocktails? That's cruel. This was her once-in-a-lifetime moment. Yeah? My moment involved having vertebrae fused. You're being incredibly selfish, Lucas. No. Selfish would be taking you to small claims court over the $22,000. This is just boundaries. You're manipulating us with money. I'm holding you accountable. I told her I wanted a formal payment plan in writing, $500 a month starting by the end of the month. Court costs if they ignored it. She burst into tears. Said I was acting like someone she didn't recognize. I told her I finally recognized myself. Drew sent the demand letter that same day. Professionally worded. Outlined the original loan, repayment attempts, and clear consequences. Connor called 2 days later. "Man, this is getting out of hand." "Yeah. It got out of hand when you skipped my surgery. I had a work thing. You had a brother in the hospital." He didn't argue. Just said, "Well, this is making everyone uncomfortable." I laughed. "I've been uncomfortable my whole life. Welcome to the party." The next 2 months were a blur of physical therapy, follow-up scans, slow recovery. I couldn't stand longer than 10 minutes without shaking. But Haley never once made me feel like a burden. She was a rock. My parents, meanwhile, sent $200 in August. Skipped September. Sent $150 in October with a smiley face emoji in the memo line. Like they were tipping a barista. Drew kept sending follow-ups. Still, no apology. No acknowledgement. Just passive-aggressive. "We're trying." Texts. But the thing is, I wasn't even mad anymore. I was done. Done begging for scraps of respect. Done letting them treat love like a barter system. Done pretending I was the problem for wanting basic empathy. By November, I was walking without a cane. By December, I was jogging. And by January? I asked Haley to marry me. Right there, in the hospital parking lot where she picked me up after physical therapy. I didn't have a ring yet. Just had clarity. "You stayed when it hurt. You didn't flinch. Marry me," she cried. Said yes. Then drove us home. And for the first time in years, I felt like I belonged somewhere. We set the wedding date for the following October. Small ceremony, just close friends and family. And by family, I mean Haley's family. And Colleen. A few cousins. No one with my DNA who still owed me $19,000 and a spine-side apology. Around the same time, Savannah announced her wedding. She'd picked a venue 2 weeks before ours, just close enough to cause passive-aggressive drama, but not close enough for anyone to say it out loud. Her save-the-date arrived in an envelope thick enough to stop a bullet. Gold foil lettering. Watercolor sketch of the venue. A return address label that literally said, "Savannah and Connor," which was especially weird, considering Connor was not the one getting married. I didn't RSVP. Didn't say a word. Savannah eventually texted me directly. Said she'd love to see me there. That she was willing to put the past behind us for her big day. Translation: please bring a check. I ignored it. Mom tried a more strategic route. She called Haley. Hi, sweetheart. Just hoping you could help me smooth things over. Savannah would really love to have Lucas at the wedding. And I know he listens to you. Haley, bless her heart, said, Ma'am, your son asked me to marry him in a hospital parking lot because you skipped his spinal surgery for a bachelorette party. He doesn't need smoothing. He needs boundaries. And you're not invited to our wedding. Mom went quiet. Then burst into tears. Said I was punishing her, that she'd already paid her dues. Funny. I must have missed the part where she even acknowledged what happened. Meanwhile, the payments kept trickling in. $200 here, $150 there. 1 month they sent nothing and claimed it was because of venue costs. Drew finally filed the lawsuit. Civil court. We'd given them 3 years and a dozen chances. Enough was enough. They got served in early February. That's when things really blew up. Dad called 3 times in one day. Left long voicemails about how disappointed he was that I'd air family business in front of strangers. Said it was disrespectful. Said it was hurtful. He never said it was wrong. Never mentioned the money. It was about the embarrassment. Always the optics with him. Our court date was set for November 12th. Savannah's wedding came and went in September. I saw photos on social media. Big dress. Bigger captions. Mom wrote something about raising a radiant bride and tagged Connor and Dad. Not me. Our wedding? Whole different energy. We had 30 people tops. Haley walked down the aisle barefoot in a state park. Drew was my best man. Aunt Colleen gave a toast that made everyone cry. The whole thing cost less than $4,000. And it was perfect. Not a single guilt trip. Not a single empty chair wondering whether someone would show. We honeymooned in Montana. No cell service. Just hiking trails and silence. Haley took a photo of me on the last day, me standing at the top of a ridge, hands on my hips, smiling like I hadn't smiled in years. She said, "You're whole again." And I was. Then the real showdown came. Court. My parents showed up 15 minutes late. No Savannah. No Connor. Just Mom in a stiff blazer and Dad trying not to make eye contact. The judge didn't waste time. You received $22,000. Have you repaid it? Dad. Well, we've made some payments. How much? They froze. Couldn't answer. Drew stood, handed over a spreadsheet. $2,800. Over 3 years. That's less than 13%. The judge raised an eyebrow. Any reason you can't pay $500 a month? Mom started talking about Savannah's wedding. The judge actually snorted. Judgment, in our favor. $22,000 plus court costs and interest. New payment plan, $650 a month. Miss more than 2 payments, and we could garnish wages. Drew handed them the paperwork. We walked out. They tried to talk to me in the hallway. I didn't even look at them. Just kept walking. Haley squeezed my hand. You okay? Getting there. The first payment was late. Of course it was. Due December 1st, showed up December 19th. And for $450 instead of $650. Drew sent a formal notice. Said we'd file for garnishment if they didn't make up the difference by January. That's when Dad called again. From a number I hadn't blocked. Son, $450's better than nothing, right? No. The judge said $650. Not $450 when it's convenient. Come on, you know how tight things are. Yeah. I also know how tight things were when I gave you $22,000 and watched you buy a new car with it. Don't do this. We're family. Tell that to Drew. He's filing the paperwork. I hung up. 3 days later, the full $650 arrived. January's payment came on time. But I knew something was coming. And I was right. Because on a Tuesday morning, when I was working from home, the doorbell rang. And there she was. Savannah. Savannah stood at my front door like she owned the zip code, hair blown out, heels clicking against the porch like she was late for a runway call. I was mid-meeting, laptop open, headset on mute. I didn't even have time to process the absurdity before she shoved past me into the apartment. "You and I need to talk." I blinked. Did you seriously push your way in? Don't play games. You've been hiding behind lawyers and court orders, destroying this family. What is wrong with you? I closed my laptop and followed her into the living room, heart pounding. "Savannah, you need to leave. Now. No. Not until you hear what you've done. You sued Mom and Dad. Over money? Seriously? After everything they've done for you?" "Everything they'd done for me." "Right." I glanced toward the coffee table where Haley's nursing textbooks sat in a neat stack. Savannah grabbed one and flipped through it like she was about to grade it. "Put that down." She ignored me. "Opened the fridge." "What, no juice? You always used to have cranberry. Haley got you on some boring diet now?" That's when I pulled out my phone and started dialing. She laughed. "You wouldn't. Try me. You've got 30 seconds. Her smirk faded just a little. "You're such a jerk." 20 seconds. She muttered something under her breath and stomped out, slamming the door so hard it shook the wall art. I stood there for a second, breathing like I'd just run stairs. My hands were shaking. Then I remembered, we'd installed a video doorbell after a break-in in the parking garage last year. The whole interaction, her pushing in, refusing to leave, screaming through the apartment, all of it was on camera. I called Drew. "Save the footage. If she comes back, call the cops immediately. Don't argue. Don't engage. Just document and report." She came back 4 days later. I wasn't home. Haley was. She rang the doorbell 17 times. Slammed her fist on the door like a cop with a warrant. Yelled through the door. "You're tearing this family apart. And you're poisoning him." All while Haley sat inside with earbuds in, watching the doorbell footage on her phone. That night Haley sat me down. "We need to do something before this gets worse." I nodded. Drew agreed. "She's escalating. This meets the criteria for a restraining order. You've got 2 unwanted contacts, forced entry, harassment. It's a pattern." Haley, arms crossed, added, "Your parents aren't innocent in this either." "What do you mean?" "Your mom showed up at your work. Your dad won't stop calling. They're backing her up." Drew chimed in. "If we file the order and leave them out, it looks incomplete. It weakens the case. They'll go ballistic. They already have. This just makes it stop." He was right. So we filed. Temporary restraining order, Savannah, Mom, and Dad. 500-foot distance. No contact. Violation equals arrest. Mom found out within days. How? She showed up at my workplace. Walked right into the lobby. Started crying. Begged security to. "Just let me explain." When they told her to leave, she sat on the couch and refused to go. Security called me. I walked downstairs to see my own mother being escorted out by 2 guards while muttering something about being treated like a criminal for loving my children. That incident went straight into the application. Dad left 5 voicemails that week. All rambling. Christian forgiveness, blood is thicker, what would Grandpa think, never once saying, "We're sorry." Then came the court hearing. Savannah showed up with a lawyer. Well, tried to. After Discovery pulled the doorbell footage and her texts, her lawyer quit. She represented herself. It went exactly how you'd think. She tried to argue that family should be able to talk things out. That she was just trying to fix things. That I was being hostile and reactive. The judge cut her off. "Do you understand what no contact means?" Savannah shrugged. "I just wanted to talk to my brother." The judge raised a brow. "By pushing into his home and yelling through his door?" "Okay, well, he's being dramatic. 3-year restraining order. All 3 of you. 500 feet minimum. Violations will result in immediate arrest." We walked out of that courtroom in silence. Outside, Haley wrapped her arm around mine. "I'm proud of you. I feel like I just burned a bridge." "You didn't burn it. You finally stopped letting them set it on fire while handing you the extinguisher. For the first time in years, I slept through the night. No calls. No texts. No guilt. Just silence. The payments started coming on time. Not a day early, not a cent extra. Just the agreed $650, month after month. But I didn't care anymore. Because we had something better coming. Haley got pregnant 4 months after the restraining order hearing. We'd been trying, timing things, tracking things, half laughing our way through it with awkward charts and even more awkward attempts at spontaneity on a schedule. Then one day she came out of the bathroom holding a stick and shaking. It's real. It's happening. I couldn't speak. Just dropped onto the edge of the bed and stared at her like I'd never seen anything more terrifying and beautiful in my life. We didn't tell my family. We did tell hers, immediately. Her mom cried. Her dad hugged me so hard I thought I reherniated something. Drew brought over baby books that night like it was a pop quiz. Haley's sister knitted us a baby hat before we'd even confirmed the gender. We posted the ultrasound photo around week 13. Simple. No captions, just the image. I guess one of my cousins saw it, because within an hour, Aunt Colleen called. You're having a baby and didn't tell me? Colleen! I was going to. We just wanted to make sure everything was okay. Well, I'm showing up to everything, do you hear me? Baby shower, first tooth, kindergarten graduation. I'm putting it all on my calendar right now. She was more excited than my actual mother would have been, and that's when I realized I wasn't missing anything. I wasn't depriving Harper of anything. We had a real family already. Of course, my parents found out. Somehow they always did. Mom tried calling from a number I hadn't blocked yet. Left a voicemail. I just want to congratulate you both. And I hope maybe we can talk. I'd love to be part of my grandchild's life. That voicemail got forwarded straight to Drew. He told me not to respond. Any reply gives them an opening. Document it and move on. Then came the bombshell. Savannah got divorced. Apparently, her husband discovered she'd been using their joint credit cards to fund a lifestyle straight out of a Bravo show. They were $40,000 in debt, and hadn't even hit their 1-year anniversary. I only found out because my cousin texted me a screenshot from Facebook. Mom, of course, blamed him. Posted some cryptic nonsense like, strong women are always punished for being independent. And, some men can't handle queens. Nothing about the 5 maxed out credit cards. But I just kept living my life. Haley was glowing. Our baby shower was perfect. Aunt Colleen brought 2 crockpots and a gift basket the size of a smart car. Drew bought a car seat and installed it correctly the first time, because of course he did. Harper was born on a rainy Tuesday in September. She came out wrinkled and furious and perfect. I cut the cord with shaking hands and cried like someone had just hit play on a brand new life I never thought I'd get to have. Haley's parents were at the hospital within an hour. Drew showed up with donuts and Gatorade. Aunt Colleen drove down from Portland and took over the kitchen like she was preparing for Thanksgiving. My parents? They sent a bouquet. Haley had it rerouted to the nurse's station. They can enjoy it. We're good in here. We named her Harper, after Haley's grandmother. Strong, stubborn, sweet as sugar, and just as messy. And when we posted the birth announcement, guess who commented within minutes? Beautiful. Can't wait to meet her. Mom. Haley deleted the comment. Blocked her. Connor, for the first time in over a year, sent a one-word text. Congratulations. That was it. No follow-up. No offer to visit. Just performative acknowledgement. Harper didn't notice. She was too busy pooping on everything we owned and trying to eat her own fist. Haley and I were wrecked, sleep-deprived, confused, completely smitten. And we had support. Haley's mom came over 3 times a week. Aunt Colleen video called every night. Drew brought groceries, did laundry, and fixed our busted sink. My parents? Did nothing. Said nothing. Gave nothing. And still, I didn't miss them. 3 months later, it all came crashing down again. Savannah violated the restraining order. She showed up at Haley's hospital. Walked straight into the maternity ward like she had a badge. Told the front desk she was there to see her sister-in-law. Started demanding to hold. Her niece. Security got called within 5 minutes. Haley wasn't even on shift that day, she was home on maternity leave, but Savannah didn't know that. Or care. When they ran her ID, saw the active restraining order on file, they called the cops. Savannah was arrested in the lobby. Booked. Spent the night in jail. Mom paid her bail the next morning. Drew got the police report and said it was textbook violation. We can use this to extend the order another 2 years. Maybe 5. I said. Let's do it. The next hearing was short. The judge looked at Savannah, then at the officer's written report, then at the video footage. 5-year extension. Any further violation would result in criminal contempt charges. Jail. No more slaps on the wrist. Mom, of course, went on Facebook. This system punishes love. My daughter just wanted to see her family. This is what happens when bitter people win. She wasn't talking to me. I was too busy learning how to install a baby gate without smashing my thumb. Dad stayed quiet. Still paid the $650 a month. Drew suspected a lawyer told him to shut up and keep his head down. Savannah made your entire family look unhinged, he said. If they were smart, they'll stay quiet and compliant. And they did. For a while. But Harper's 3rd birthday was coming. And Mom? She had one more guilt trip left in her. Harper's 3rd birthday was 2 weeks away when Aunt Colleen called. Her voice had that "you're not gonna like this" tone. Your mom asked me to pass along a message. I told her I wouldn't, but you should probably know. Let me guess, she's dying? She's having surgery. I sighed. What kind of surgery? She didn't say. Just said it was soon, that she wanted to make peace, and hoped it might reopen dialogue. I told her you don't owe her anything. Thanks, Colleen. But heads up, she's convinced that once the restraining order expires in 6 months, she can start over. When we hung up, I sat there for a long time, staring at nothing. Harper was in the living room building a pillow fortress while Haley folded laundry one-handed like the mom ninja she was. What's wrong? She asked. Mom's having surgery. She paused. Serious? Don't know. Don't care. Probably gallbladder or something. But she wants me to feel bad. Do you? I thought about it. Not really. But I keep wondering, what if it was serious? What if I regret it later? She came over, sat beside me. Lucas, she skipped your spinal fusion for a party. A pool party. You think Harper needs that kind of grandparent? No. Exactly. You're not keeping your daughter from love. You're keeping her from harm. 2 days later, Drew called. Got a letter from their lawyer. Let me guess, medical sympathy card? Basically. Gallbladder removal. Routine. Outpatient. But the letter feels dramatic, like they're hoping to play the surgery card to start healing. They waited 3 years to heal? On gallbladder timing? Exactly. I assume we're not replying? Correct. Harper's birthday party came and went without a hitch. Balloons. Cupcakes. A bouncy house that I almost herniated again trying to inflate. Haley's parents came early and stayed late. Drew brought a magician. Aunt Colleen made a lasagna the size of a suitcase. Harper got Play-Doh in her hair, frosting on the dog, and fell asleep smiling. Everyone who mattered was there. My parents? Still under the restraining order. Still paying off their debt. The last installment had come 6 months earlier. Financial obligation, complete. Emotional obligation? Dead and buried. Mom's surgery happened 3 days later. Aunt Colleen texted. It went fine. She's already home complaining about the food. I replied with a single thumbs up emoji. I used to wonder if I'd regret cutting them off. If I'd feel some deep ache when Harper asked about grandparents. If maybe deep down, I'd miss the chaos. But 3 years later? I don't. I miss nothing. Haley, Harper, and Colleen, Drew, that's my family now. Built, not inherited. Chosen, not tolerated. And Harper? She's thriving. She doesn't need people who taught me that love was transactional. She needs people who show up. Who stay. Who care without conditions. And that's what we gave her. Some people spend their whole lives trying to fix broken family relationships. I chose something else. I stopped showing up where I wasn't valued. Best decision I ever made.